guys, it's Rosie from Canvas and Light Studio. Can I be honest with you for just a moment? When I was creating this planner, there are definitely some pages that initially I thought I would never use those. So for instance, why would I need an entire spread based on my kids' information? Like, I already know that stuff, right? So why would I need to write it down? That was my initial thought. My mind has definitely changed since those days. If you don't know, I actually created this planner with a lot of feedback and suggestions from other women in the planner community based on what we wanted to see in a planner, what we wished our planners had. So as I was getting that feedback, there were definitely pages that I was like, I would never use those pages. I just don't need them. And I've heard that actually from other people. And the funny thing is the more you use it and you think about it, you realize how valuable some of these pages are. And I have learned that our brains really aren't meant to function like an unending filing cabinet full of information that we're trying to constantly remember everything all the time, right? And when we use it like that, we have less working memory for our day-to-day activities, and you just don't have enough brain power for actually living. So what I want to do today is to walk through some of the family and home pages in my planner. These pages quietly hold so much mental load, and I just want to be able to show you how I actually use them, or give you some ideas on ways that you can use them and maybe free up some of your mental load. Even for the pages that maybe you don't think that you would need, maybe I can show you that you might like it. So let's go ahead, let's take a look and let's flip through it together. All right, first up, medical information. And full transparency, this was one of those sections I just wasn't sure about at first. The reason I have actually started to love this appointment tracker page is that not only, have I made an appointment, I put it in my calendar, but on this page, I can make sure that everyone has had at least the bare minimum in medical appointments every year. Doctor's appointment, checkup, the optometrist at least once a year, and at least 2 dental appointments. There's also a specialty appointment section for anybody in your family that may have a special doctor or specialist that they have to see regularly. This can help you see who you're seeing when, making sure that you're getting everybody in the calendar year that you need to. We have a spot for all of the doctors' information, their phone numbers, their names. You also have the same thing for pharmacies. I don't know about you, but our family, we do have some medical special needs in our family, and so we have to use multiple pharmacies. Thank you, insurance. We also have our favorite professionals that we can recommend to friends. All right, when you flip the page, we have the symptom tracker. You have 2 full pages. This is specifically so when a doctor says, well, how long has this been going on? I actually have an answer, a real answer, instead of guessing. And on the next page, we have our medication tracker. We have the medication name, the exact dosage, and at what time they take it, the reason that they take it, the start date, and the end date. That's it for the beginning section. Now we're going to flip to the back of the planner for the family section. Okay, the first page in this section is our family design, where we can log all of our family values and our vision. This is where we can write down what actually matters to us as a family, not what Instagram or the world says should matter, just what we really value, what we want to make sure is important and stays top priority in our family. Then we have our maintaining the home section. We have our ideas for zone cleaning. There's plenty of room for you to add in anything that needs to be added for your home. We also have down here all the home responsibilities. Who does what? All right, on the next page, we have home tasks broken down by frequency. You have daily, monthly, quarterly, and seasonal tasks, semi-annual tasks, and annual tasks. And of course, an extra little note section for anything that you need to add there. Next up, my favorite addition to the planner, meal planning pages. This was definitely not one of those pages that I didn't think I needed. Oh, I know I needed this page. First of all, what I've done is we've got meals broken down by category. There are no labels. You are free to label these however you would like. You can have breakfasts, desserts, different kinds of meals, but maybe you have crock pot meals. Maybe you have potluck favorites. Maybe you have dishes that you want to go take for meal trains. Maybe it's a no cook meals. Maybe it's a list of things that the kids can make on their own. You can list your meal and where to find that recipe. You have more categories on the next page, and as well as all the meal categories where you can take all of your favorite meals in your ideal month of meal planning and put it all down so you have 2 full months of meal plans already done. Then when you get to the week, you can just pick the week in your planner, write down the meals for that week, go check your fridge and your pantry, get your grocery list, and you're done. This section alone has saved me from so many 5 p.m. panic moments of what are we going to eat? And probably, honestly, has probably saved us hundreds of dollars in last minute takeout. So very thankful for that section. This next spread is a section that I hope I never have to use, but it's here if we have a crisis, and I'm so glad that it exists. We have where you can put down the emergency plan, important documents, shelter, sources of water in kind of case of a big emergency, all sorts of supply lists over here, your 72-hour kits, your tech backup supplies, cooking supplies, hygiene, all sorts of stuff. If something happens and I'm not thinking clearly and I don't know what to grab because, things are crazy, or if somebody else has to help us get things, it's all right here. It's all here. The plan is made. My family can be on the same page. Next, we have a couple of financial planning pages. So we have our debt elimination worksheet. If you're working towards financial goals, this can help keep you on track. And you can just keep track of it here if you would like to use it that way. But I prefer to actually use it in the snowball method. So where you can maybe chart it out, plan out what your debt, where your money is going to go, what debt you're going to pay off. And then as that pays off, you can roll it over into the next debt. And this will give you a really lovely visual of where you expect to be with your debt elimination. On the next page, we have a giving and saving column. So you can just keep track of anything that you give, any donations that you give, charities that you give to, tithing at church, and also a column just to list and start to keep track of how much you're saving. And of course, a nice blank page that can be used for whatever you need to. All right, the next section is our travel section. So the first page is really designed to be a reference travel packing list. Use this to plan what you need to pack for trips for your family one time. And then on the next page here, we have the actual travel planner. At the top, you can have your basic details, your destination dates, main goals while you're there. You also have your itinerary, so you can keep track of where you need to be and when, or what you would like to go see and do. Definitely a spot for a budget here. And now here you do have packing list again. And the reason I included packing list here is because a lot of times, certain trips, you're going to have specific things that you're going to need just for that trip. So yes, you have your reference packing list over here that you can reference for any trip that you take. But here, let's say for instance, we are going camping. I am going to change up that and some of the stuff that we're taking with us versus if we're taking our medical appointment trip. So I can add those things down here. And then at the bottom, this important information section, you guys, story time. Quick story time. This is so important to have, and I'm going to tell you why. I have a friend who is amazing, but went and traveled on her own to a different country, okay? While she was there, her phone, somebody rode by on a bike and took her phone from her, stole her phone. And do you know how hard it was for her to find this information without her phone in a different country? So use this important information section. Make sure you have things written down in another source besides just relying on your phone for that. All right, that is that. And like I said, we have 3 of those pages here. And the next page, this is the section I talked about in the very beginning. the kids' information pages. Once you fill these out, these sections are so great to just be able to take a picture of and send it to grandma and grandpa, aunts, uncles, friends, when it's your child's birthday and everybody says, well, what did we get him? You're like, well, here's some ideas. We have a quick monthly habit tracker where you can track habits or goals over the months. Across the bottom here, this section I actually have really come to love. We have these little boxes here for different areas in their lives, their self-esteem, talents, hobbies, friends, work ethic, activities, values, morals, education. You can use these in so many ways. You can write goals for your child. You can write scripture in here. You can write prayers that you are praying over your children in these different areas. You can even use these as just a little scrapbook and put photos of them in different areas, or maybe write a little memory that you have down here for your children. So this is just such a nice way to vary the use of this page. Up here you obviously have an empty spot. You can use that with whatever you'd like, but I personally think adding a picture of the child whom you love so much right there to look at is just nice to do. I love this section for information. For somebody who has toddlers or infants and they're growing constantly, it is so nice to be able to write some of this information down. And maybe this isn't just for you. Maybe this is for grandma or dad or whoever. If they need to go shopping and get them something, they can have this information too. And then of course we have this plans and events section. So we can use this to write major things, a trip that they're taking. Maybe they're taking their senior trip and you want to write that down, or summer camp is in this month. But another way that you can use this is if you want to make sure that you're planning and you're being intentional about time with your child, and maybe you want to plan a special day with just you and one child at a time. Every month, you can make sure that time is planned out here. Okay, after the kids' pages, you'll see a page that looks very similar, but a little different. And this is for your spouse page. This is where you're keeping track of stuff, just for intentionality, for your husband. Needs, wants. We're not habit tracking him. He can track his own habits. But down at the bottom, you have a set of boxes. They're titled differently. They are more appropriate for your husband. But same thing, you can use them in a variety of different ways. Same with like the date planner. You can just use this page, read that scripture over him. Just be really intentional with your relationship with your spouse. And of course, yes, there's a page for me too. Because I deserve to have my own information organized just as much as everyone else in the house. And again, maybe these pages aren't just for you. So I know every time we get to a holiday season, my husband and my son are like, Mom, what do you want? Honey, what do you want? And I never know. In the moment, I just never know. So being able to have some information just about you, what you are, what your motivations are, your needs, your wants, stresses and triggers, motivations, your own boxes across the bottom here, all of your information. This can be so good for somebody else to use for you. And also just so that you can be intentional with yourself as well. The last set of pages, which is my favorite things page. So this is definitely one of those pages I didn't think I was going to like or use, but it's actually really nice as a mom and a wife to remember who I am and what I enjoy and what I am really passionate about and really care about. A lot of times as wives and moms, we tend to think about everybody else first all the time. And so just being able to write down some things kind of connects you back to who you are. And again, being intentional with yourself. So here's what I've learned about these pages. I didn't think I needed them. I thought I could just remember all of this stuff, but your brain really isn't meant to be that kind of a storage system. Using these pages have really freed up so much mental space for me, and really, that's life-changing. I can use all of my mental space for what I'm actually doing, being present in the moment, right? So if you're interested in a planner like this that helps you kind of release some of this mental load and free up some space in your brain, the link is in the description. Thanks for flipping through with me. I'll see you next time.